This lesson is on normal distribution, calculating the percentage of a sample using the specific terms at least. The word problem states, a professor determined that his students' exam scores were normally distributed. The mean was an 87 and the standard deviation was 4. If there were 200 students who took the exam, how many scored at least an 83? So the first thing we do when we read word problems is to find your question word. My question word starts with how. So I want to know what's it asking. How many scored? So how many scored at least 83? Okay. Now I want to find all the key terms and information in the word problem. It states that the information was normally distributed. There was a mean of 87 and a standard deviation of 4. And there's also a sample of 200 students. So the key piece of information out of the entire problem is the information that says normally distributed. So I want to draw a normal distribution curve. And I want to write down my mean. States that the mean is a grade of 87. Remember again that the X with the line over it is the calculator symbol for mean. Okay, it states that the standard deviation is equal to 4. So if I go below, I want to continue subtracting. And if I go above, I want to add by 4. Now it states that we need to find out how many students scored at least an 83. So this at least term means that the minimum is an 83. So I don't need to go any lower than 83. So if I go on the below side, I'm going to subtract by the standard deviation. So my first one, -1 standard deviations, is 87 minus the standard deviation of 4, which puts us at 83. And if you'll notice, we're already at 83, so I don't need to go any lower. So I'm now going to go on the above side, and it says minimum of 83. That means I need to go minimum and everywhere above. So I need to fill out all the standard deviations on the above side. So I'm going to go +1 standard deviations, which would say 87 plus 4, which would put me at 91. If I go 2 standard deviations above, I'm going to continue adding 4, so 91 plus 4, which gives me 95. And my last standard deviation, 3 standard deviations above, I'm going to add 4 more, and I get a 99. Okay, so I know I need the percentages from an 83 above, because it states how many scored. So in order to find out how many of a sample, we need to know the percentages. So this percentage here together is the 68%. Okay. 2 standard deviations will give me 95%. And 3 standard deviations would give me 99.7%. Now, we talked in another lesson about how to get the individual percentages. So if you go back through your notes, you'll find out that this is 34% from the mean between 1 standard deviation. From the mean up to 1 standard deviation is also 34%. Between the first standard deviation and the second standard deviation, you'll have 13.5%. Between the second and the third, you have 2.35%. And then the last piece past 3 standard deviations is 0.15%. Okay, now we wanted to find 83, the minimum of 83. So we're going to calculate all the percentages together, meaning add. So we can use in the calculator 34% plus 34 plus 13.5 plus 2.35 plus 1.5 plus 0.15. And we would get 84% total for a grade of at least 83. But the question's not just asking for the percentage. It says how many students scored. So that means I want to know, I want to take 84% of the sample. Okay, well, we need to change this 84% to a decimal, and we get 0.84. And it says of the sample. The key word here is of. Of means we're going to multiply. The sample was 200 students. So we're going to take 0.84 times 200 in the calculator. So 0.84 times 200. And we get that to be 168 students. So we now know that 168 students scored at least 83.